Hey guys, I'm Chris. I play keyboards in the band Vinyl Theater. Today I'm going to give you a little rundown of the equipment I use on stage. Over here, this is a guy we just picked up for this next tour. It's called the Dave Smith Prophet 12. I use it to get some really cool bass sounds, and it's going to be incorporated in our new album a lot. I was actually talking to a sound engineer about 6 months ago on another tour, and he recommended this as an analog synth, and I looked into it and I thought it was just incredible, the customization you can do on the sounds. That's why we jumped into this one. So I'm using it in a new song called My Fault that will be on the new album currently right now. And what we did is we also built it into the old set too, some of the older songs, and tried to utilize some of the tones by building in interludes that I'll play over here. Get some really good bass tones. For tonight, you'll hear that in tonight's set. And yeah, it's pretty easy. I can customize and name the synths based on the songs that I use them in. So over here we've got the Roland Phantom G8. I've had this for 6 years now. Kind of my baby. I've used it for, I've used the internal sounds on it. That's how I started. And then when we started playing as a band, we wanted to dive into more synthesizers, and this wasn't really getting it done for that. So we started using it as a controller, and that runs through the laptop over there. And we use a bunch of different patches to, that we've created. Nick's really good with creating the sounds, and he programmed basically every song that we play. This launches like the different synthesizer tones that I use, and then I use these pads to switch accordingly for each song. We use a ton of different sounds in our music, so this pad over here really makes it a lot easier. Depending on what song we're in, say we're playing Breaking My Bones, I'm on pad 1 for the intro, and it goes all the way up to pad 4 or 5. And I'm switching, throughout the song.
Hey guys, Nick from Vinyl Theater here. Today I'm going to do a little drum rundown of my little battle station here. Over here for this tour, I went with the white drum set, and this is actually my first drum set I ever got. It's right here. This original piece is here. So originally started out with a lot less drums, but since the kit's been going on so many tours, it's got so beat up, I refinished the whole kit, made it completely white, minus this DW Collector's snare drum here, which is my go-to now. It's Pearl Export series from about 1999. I added these two 6/8 concert toms on here, just to give a little extra sound to them. They're really, really high pitched. And also this timbali drum, which is actually a modified snare drum, but you can still get that kind of sound from it. So the snare drum is a DW Collector's series I picked up on the 21 Pilots tour. And I believe it's 14 by, I believe, 5.5. And I'm not too big on really deep snare drums. I really like a crisp, tighter drum. A lot of guys like the snare drum really loose and fat, but I think kind of right in the middle is good for me. So that's that drum. So the hats here, I'm not even totally sure what they are. I think they're old A's, but I picked them up at a used music store a while ago because I kept cracking them, and these have been holding out, I would say maybe 80s. They're a Vetus by Zildjian. And on this tour I've also been big into a line of cymbals from a company called Dream, which are fantastic. So I use a combination of Zildjian and Dream cymbals. This is an 18-inch crash cymbal. Or is it, hold on, sorry. Sorry, it's this is a 20-inch crash ride cymbal. Moving over here, this is a late 70s Avitas Zildjian as well. Same model as the hats, I believe. And here we have I have a K Constantinople 22-inch ride cymbal that I use as a crash cymbal. Over here I have a LP China cymbal. I'm not sure on the size, probably maybe a 16 or 18. So as far as foot pedals go, I really gravitated towards the DW line. DW 9000, fantastic hi-hat pedal. The kick drums are the 3000s, which I want to eventually get the 9000s because they're very smooth and they're just built very well. Over here I have an old Pearl kick drum pedal, which is actually controlling a Roland KD7, which runs over into my electronics rig. The bass drum here is the original from the Pearl Export Select series I had when I first was starting off playing. It is a 20 by 22, I believe. And I don't think I need to go any bigger than that. I see a lot of guys playing smaller kits now, or smaller bass drums, but this works great for me. It's a really fat sound. And floor tom, 16 by 16, standard floor tom size. Maybe we'll get an 18 eventually, but right now just one floor tom. Moving to the electronics, I first started off with just a regular sampling pad, which is the Roland SPD-SX. This will change songs for me. I can go in between our set here with these up and down. And from there I have different sounds that I've programmed in from a lot of drum sets, electronic drum sets from the 80s, like the Simmons SD5, I believe, and various Roland kits from over the years. Some that come pre-programmed, like the Roland 808, the 909, those are all in there. I really like the sound, just to be able to do other stuff than just regular acoustic drums. And I can also get access to the pad here with this trigger as well. And for this tour I also added what's called the Mallet Cat, which is made by a company called Alternate Mode, which allows me to play different keyboard parts in addition to what Chris is doing on the synthesizers, as well as go through my setup here. This will change which songs we're on in the set. So I have an iPad down here that is basically like a remote visual, it allows me to visualize my laptop so I can see exactly what's going on way on the other side of the stage, because I can't always be near it. And it's just more reliable. That thing is off stage. The cables aren't going to bounce around and get everything, go everywhere. But since we became a three-piece, we have a lot of different triggered samples and tracks that are sequenced basically with the song, and I kind of control all of that from this whole electronic setup.
All right, this is my my main axe, I guess you could say. 1981 Gibson Les Paul with a 1975 headstock. It's got some wicked play burn on it. It's in great shape though. Just had everything redone. It's actually a hand-me-down from my cousin. But I've played it at every single show for the past 2 years. Super reliable. So the strings I'm using are Ernie Ball. I just use 10 gauge strings. Pretty basic, but they're reliable strings, and I replace them every 4 or 5 shows anyway. So like if you're looking for strings for longevity, I mean, I'm not your guy, but I'm more like get 3 or 4 shows in and then kind of replace them. They sound great when they're restrung, and I think you should be restringing them on tour, probably about that 2 or 3 shows, So they're great strings for just a live band. These are the original humbuckers from the 1980s. I just actually had this re-intonated. I re-intonated everything myself and raised up my pickups because I was getting some weird issues with going under the rhythm channel, and then I just get blasted and blown away. And I had to do a bit of reading on just how close I should keep it. I do about a 1/16 of an inch away here, and like about 4/16 or an eighth away over here. It's just dependent on what you really want to hear. I mainly keep it on the treble setting. Yeah, this guitar definitely, it's the sound of the last record, but I'm actually switching over and I'm using a Fender Jazzmaster on the next record. I think I'm going to track almost exclusively on that Jazzmaster just for the entire record, just because it has a completely different sound. It's really versatile. The thing about Gibson is, one thing is it's extremely heavy. And durable, don't get me wrong, but just moving over to Fender will help me to just diversify our catalog, and so that's why I'm kind of switching it up. So recently I actually switched it up and got a different distortion. This is Rupert Neve's Transformers in this distortion here. Burnley, it's awesome, great distortion. I'm really big into just keeping a little bit of drive on everything, so I use my Fender Hot Rod Deluxe. It's actual internal drive, it's always slightly on. And then I'll just use this for solos and whatnot. But you got your standard tuner, you got really your standard delay, DD7. A lot of people use the DD6, but I prefer the 7 just for some features. I pretty much tape down everything I want to stay because I'm always pounding on this pedal board, and you got your basic Hall of Fame reverb. It's awesome. I wouldn't buy any other, to be honest. It's fantastic. That's really it.